Hi guys, Mr. Berardo again. Before we even start doing anything with this, I want to make sure that you guys, especially all you were complaining that I can't do it, I can't do it. I can't means I won't. And I legitimately just want you to hit the attachment that I provide for you to actually do your work. I don't want you to send it to me on email. I don't want you to send it to me on chat. If you do, I'm not going to take it. I'm getting messages all over the place, and it seems like my 8th graders are the only ones who can't really grasp this. I need you to act your age. You're a couple months away from high school. I need you to start doing things the way you're supposed to do them. No more complaints, no more anything. Do it the way I ask, or you're not getting credit for it. End of discussion. All right, so we took this one down to get back to, we're going to do a lesson more or less on propaganda this time, at least Nazi propaganda. I'll show you some American propaganda as we go on. But this is Joseph Goebbels. He is the minister of propaganda for the Nazi Party. Pretty much anything that gets said or anything that gets seen or anything that gets heard goes through him. So I wanted to show you a couple pieces because you're going to have to analyze these, and you're going to have to write something about them for me, answer some questions about it. Okay? If we look at this, we can see that one side is definitely proposed as the weaker side. One person is definitely proposed as the stronger side. If we look at it, I can't translate German, and I'm not even going to try. But we can see that there's a swastika here. We can see that this is going to be the German side, and as we know, we're getting into the Holocaust. This is going to be someone who's perceived to be Jewish or an inferior race, according to the Nazis. So we can see that one side is definitely stronger, one side is definitely weaker. All right, that is definitely Nazi propaganda. This I'm going to ask you to interpret when you get into your homework. I'm going to ask you to write something about it. It's a microscope, and you can see different things on here. If you really look close and you scan in really close, you can see that there's a Star of David, there's a hammer and sickle. That is a Russian symbol. That is the Star of David, is the symbol of Judaism. And I'm going to ask you questions about that in your homework, in your work. So I'm not going to really describe it too much for you right now. All right, that's a microscope, by the way, just in case you haven't seen one yet. This is a picture of Adolf Hitler. He is in front of the pack. He is leading all of the Germans. You can see that. It's showing him as more or less to be divine, coming from God. All right, there is an eagle up here. As if to say this is what the Nazis are supposed to be. This is a Nazi. He's supposed to be leading the way of the Nazi Party, and Germany is supposed to be leading the way of the world. That is what God wants, and that is kind of what is being depicted in this piece of propaganda. It's a good piece for the Nazis, more or less, not showing anything negative, showing something positive. This one I'm going to ask you to define in your book too, in your notes as well. This is a spider, and these are people hanging around there. You can see like this is behind them is the German countryside. That's about all I'm going to give you because I want you to answer that for your homework. This is a picture of a Nazi family, a traditional Nazi family, or at least what they want to be a traditional Nazi family. A couple of children. In reality, you're going to get an article where they really want to see women have, I don't know if I give it to you or not, but you want to see women have at least 4 children. They get a mother's medal, or they get something, they get a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm going to show you some other things that's going to demonstrate this as well. Big eagle behind is a symbol of Nazi Germany. Notice that these kids all have blonde hair. And probably if we can look closer, if we saw an original copy, it would probably be blue eyes. And they're all very smiling and happy. All right? This should go along with the stuff that you read about or you saw the movies on. I want you to take these down in your Cornell notes. I want you to make sure you got them. Very good public speaker, Adolf Hitler. Hitler was Austrian. He was not German. He fought for Germany on the side of World War I. He felt that it was his duty He felt that it was his duty to legitimately serve as in the German army because it spoke a similar language and it had common ancestry. He is going to do a couple things. More or less, his public speaking is going to be for his own radical ideas, but he is very good at it. If you watch the video, I don't really need to explain it super much. If you can't go back If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, go back and watch that video, which I know many of you did not do. And that's what you need to do, all right? He does help Germany get out of some of their depression. A lot of the things that he did were results of other people's policies and people who came before him. It wasn't as if he was like, after World War I, he automatically became the leader of Germany. It took a while for him. So there is a video, and I want you to watch it. I'm not giving you super amounts of answers to these things because I showed you guys stuff and I told you guys stuff. I need you to do that. Until he really starts to lose it, he's looked at as a favorable leader. It looks like he's getting things done. They host the Olympics. People look at Hitler as somebody decent, and they look at him as getting stuff done. Once he starts to really lose his mind on racial ideas, or once his ideas of racial profiling, I guess you want to say, come to being, that's when the red flag goes up and people start to look at him and say, maybe this isn't all that great for him. Then he's going to call for something called Lebensraum. I'm going to ask you what that means, but that's his call for a living space for the German people. Okay? All this stuff is things that I gave you and things that you should be able to look at. The Aryan race, that's how you say it, the Aryan race. He believes that Germans came from this mythical group of people who had blonde hair and blue eyes and were super beings, so to speak, and that the interbreeding with the Jews really caused this group to go away, and Jews were like a virus and all sorts of bad things. If you looked at the videos that I showed you, again, I'm going to keep harping on that because I need you to start doing that. You will see it. But basically, if you didn't have these traits of blonde hair and blue eyes, you weren't really considered true German. All right? Banning of books. What we see here is a huge pile of books on fire. The Nazis are going to be very into burning of the ideas or destroying the ideas of people who were not Nazis or people who did not follow the same things that they did. One way to make sure that those methods and those ideas are not out there anymore is to just basically wipe them from history. They're not going to be the first group to do this. They're not going to be the last to do this. They were just really, really public in doing it. They just took books from any author, any German author that did not have the ideas, any German author that was Jewish, and they destroyed them. Anything that goes against what the party says or anything against what the party taught basically gets destroyed. Okay? This goes again with one of the readings that you do. So we should have read about the Nuremberg laws. The Night of the Broken Glass, you should have seen in the video, the Kristallnacht, where the Nazis send people out, their thugs out, and they go out and just break glasses, the businesses of the German Jews, and essentially take over. And that's really what happens. So you see synagogues being burnt and all sorts of nasty stuff like that. So this is where we're going to leave off for today. I'm going to put other stuff up there in the next couple of days, but this is where I want to leave off. Make sure you answer on the attachment. Make sure you answer on the attachment. I'm going to say it one more time. Make sure you answer on the attachment. If you can get to this, you can get to the attachment. Okay? Be good. Do your homework, and I'll see you soon.